It's great. We'll kick start if that's all right. So thanks very much for joining. Obviously, we're in really interesting times. We have put our team to the work to come up with some content that we could share with the New Zealand customer base while everyone's in lockdown. And we engaged our partners, Decospan from Belgium, to join in with us. So we've got with us today Maxime from Decospan in Belgium. He's calling in. Appreciate him jumping on. It's actually midnight in Belgium right now, so big welcome to you, Maxime. Have you got an update from Belgium and Europe for us? So you could just unmute.
Yeah, I think now I will be able to hear. So good morning, everybody. My name is Maxime. I'm the export manager of Decospan, and of course, I'm living in Belgium. So first of all, I want to thank you for joining this webinar. I want to give you, before we start, I want to give you a little bit an update about the situation in Europe and in Belgium in general. So as you know, here in Europe, we are also almost, everybody's in lockdown. In Belgium, how does it look like? Bar, restaurant, shops, they're all closed. And everybody that can work from home has to work from home. So for me, it's week 4 of confinement. So I'm happy to have a reason to dress up today. Decospan itself, Decospan is still producing. The reason we can still produce is because we can guarantee the safety of our people. We have to guarantee social distancing within the factory, and we have to guarantee all hygienic measurements. So we are still operating. That said, it's very challenging because most of our partners, thinking about the countries around us, France, UK, Netherlands, but also partners like VidaSpace in New Zealand are all closed. So we can feel the demand is getting lower at the moment. Besides that, of course, suppliers are also closing. So it's a very challenging time. Of course, it gives us also an opportunity now to organize this webinar. So I'm very happy to be here and to give you some more insights about wood veneers.
Thanks, Maxime. So I'll just quickly run through the agenda for today. We'll try to keep this to 45 minutes. Maxime will give us a brief overview of Decospan as the overall company goes. We'll briefly touch on some of the latest market trends coming out of Europe, Milan, and then looking at some of the world-leading innovations in veneer that they've been working on, that we some have brought already to the market, and then we're also looking to bring over the next 6 to 12 months. A further look behind the scenes of Decospan's factory and their processes and their world-class manufacturing techniques and methods, and then also an overview on the sustainability of wood and wood veneer, and also how that can be used as a well-being product and design than a natural product. And then we'll finish up briefly with the question and answer time. There's a question and answer box in the middle at the bottom of the screen there, so you can put a question in any time. We'll answer some as we go through, and then we'll combine at the end and go through any key questions that everyone will be interested to answer. So appreciate that, and we'll also follow up with an email at the end of it, and would love your feedback. There'll be a feedback once you shut down the webinar after 45 minutes. So with that, I'll let you take it away, Maxime. Appreciate that.
Thank you. So I will start talking about a little bit introduction about Decospan. I think some of you already start to know who Decospan is, but for the people who don't know, I will in just very small figures to give a little bit an idea. So Decospan, it's a family company. We're already 40 years in business, and we have 9 factories in Europe. So we still produce everything in Europe, and we're all about wood veneer. So it's within the heart of the company to work with wood and to work with wood veneer. So to have a little bit of an idea, we have 165 wood species in stock, and we have a veneer stock of more than 7 million square meter. So I'm quite sure I can say we have the largest stock of veneer in the whole world. It's easy to say it for me. That's why I would like to show you just a little movie that I made earlier this year. Brad, if you could play it.
I'm always talking to you guys about our cave of Alibaba, our treasury room with all our wood veneer. And I just want to give you a small idea how big it is. So you can see it on the back of me. It's just endless, endless, endless rows of veneer.
Okay, thank you for that. I think it gives you quite a good idea about the size of our warehouse with our veneers. And we can press up to 9,000 panels a day to have a little bit an idea about the capacity we have. That's enough about Decospan. So what I want to talk about during this webinar, it's about veneer. So the first thing I would like to discuss are the latest market trends in Europe. So every year there is the design week in Milan. If you could go to the next slide, Brett. So every week, every year there is the Milan Design Week. And of course, we as Decospan, we always go to that design fair. I will give you the updates of last year because the one of this year has been postponed, as you probably all know the reason why. Nevertheless, the one of last year was very interesting for us. We spotted three main trends, the trends about curves, the trends about rich textures, and the trends about colors, which were terracotta and earth tones. Curves, I want to start very general with that. The curves, if you could go to the next slide, Brett. So curves in general, it can be found everywhere. It can be found in sofas, it can be found in furniture, outside. So everywhere you look, you could find the trend of a curve again. So this was the first one we saw. The second one, that was rich textures. Rich textures, for example, the marble, we could see there was again marble where they don't polish everything anymore. So they wanted to allow, when you go with your hands over the surfaces, to feel a very rough structure. So that was a very big trend. And a third one, that was about the color. So the trendy color was earth tones, what was good for us. They did not choose a very fancy color. So earth tones was a big trend, especially with terracotta. So of course we're thinking about those trends and we want to apply those main trends into wood and into wood veneer. The first one, the curves, was quite easy for us. Why? It's something we already do. So how does it work? If you have a normal wood veneer, and if you would curve that, it would just crack. So what do? We apply the wood veneer onto a paper, and then we crack the wood grains. So basically, at the end, we have a big sheet of wood veneer with a paper backing that we can do in every curve you want. Basically, if you have a bottle in front of you, you could put around those wood veneers. The pictures you see, it's all pictures of our own factory. So the entrance, the office, and the inspiration center. The next trend, rich textures, was quite more challenging. Why? We work with wood veneer. So wood veneer, it's a thin slice of wood. So to allow a thick texture, it's more challenging. What did we find to play in this trend, to play on this trend? We did a burnt look. So we found a way to create a very, it's almost the same as you would burn it yourself, but it's done with a treatment to have a burnt surface. Those are the two pictures you see down. The other one was through an embossed technique. So with an embossed technique, you have a veneer, you have a ply, and then with a very special pressing technology, you apply texture into that wood veneer. So basically, you're still working with wood veneers, but when you would feel with your hands over that, you would feel a very deep and very strong structure. So that was the two developments we did to join the trend of rich textures. The last one, earth tones. Like I was saying, we love the color of the brownish color because it's very easy for us to do it with wood veneers. Nevertheless, it's always a challenge. People always say like, okay, they see a veneer, they like the veneer, and then we finish the veneer and it looks totally different. So from that point of view, we developed this year the invisible wood oil. where we create the oil. If you apply it, you almost don't see there's an oil being applied. So you keep it as natural as possible. So this was the whole idea of this invisible wood oil, to go as close as possible to your natural veneer. So that's in a nutshell, talking about the trends we saw last year in the Milan Design Week. And of course, the one that's postponed, normally it's planned now for June. We will go again and we will find new inspiration to find new trends. Okay, next one, Brad.
Maxime, just on the point, I've had a question come in live about whether the curved flex veneers can be run horizontal and vertical.
Yes, that's possible. So basically, you have to only be careful that you curve it within the wood grain. So and maybe that's the question, I'm not sure. But when we crack the wood grain, it's only if you have the flex in front of you, you can only flex it like this, but you could not flex it like this anymore. So it's only possible to flex it in one size. Okay. You can go to the next one, Brett. So I talked about trends in general and trends in veneer. But what I really want to talk about now with you is a little bit a look behind the scenes, how a wood veneer panel is made. So it's quite, quite an organization to create a beautiful wood veneer. Of course, we have to start with the beginning, and that's the wood species. As I already told you, we have a lot of wood species in stock. So it can seem very overwhelming, the amount of wood species we have. So let me allow to put it already in different boxes. So the first box is the light wood species, such as white ash, maple, pine, and many more. Another one, brown wood species, very common ones, the larch, the walnut, the oak, the teak, as you probably all know. The redwood species, paduk, tigerwood, jatoba, especially the Chinese like those reddish wood species a lot. And then you also have dark wood species. You have burl wood species. So if you would go to the next slide, you will see the dark wood species like ebony Makassar, Sucupira, Wenge, and burl wood species with a very popular oak and the walnut burl. Of course, all those woods, it's very important for us. It's all been harvested from a responsible source, but that's something I will talk about more later. So, okay, we selected the wood species. That's the first step. It's an important step. But of course, there are different ways to cut your tree. So if you want to slice wood veneer, the very traditional way I will talk about is the crown cut and the quarter cut. So the crown cut, basically, as you could see in the picture down, you slice your wood tree in two, and then you slice wood out of that. The grain structure you're going to see is this flame pattern. So it's really through the heart of the log you're going to cut. The other two ones are the quarter cuts. A quarter, it already says in the word itself, it's 1/4. So you're going to cut the tree in 4 pieces. And then depending the way you cut it, you're gonna have a straight cut, sometimes closer to each other, sometimes a little bit further out of each other. And the more you're in the center, the straighter your grain will be, the more you're at the end of your log, the more movement there will be in your grain. So, okay, those are the 3 most frequently used slicing methods. When the wood veneer is arriving, it arrives on big pallets. A first step is to sort those pallets. So bundle by bundle, we're gonna sort on quality, we're gonna sort on length, so the different ways to sort this. Okay, when it has been sorted, we go to the jointing. So we have the bundle of veneers, and now we want to make a full slice of wood veneer. So we want to join the veneers together. The very traditional way is the book match and the slip match. So basically how it works, you edge glue the side of your wood veneer, you put it in a machine, and the machine goes with temperature and pressure down, and your wood veneer is getting attached to each other. So this is a very traditional way. We do it at Decospan, but what do we do more is a mix matching technique. And that's something I really want to talk with you more in detail about, and that's the picture you see. With the mix matching technique, The word itself is already saying it. We're going to mix match veneers. So how does it work? The table you see in front of you is a preparation table. On that table, there are a lot of bundles of veneers, all from the same wood species, but all coming from different trees. And the lady in the factory, she's going to select a bundle of veneer. So she's selecting a bundle of veneer and she's putting it on another machine, on the mix matching machine. So one by one, so she's selecting more than 10 different bundles of veneer and she's putting it all on the mix matching machine. And the picture you see now, it's only part of the view of the mix matching machine. Why I don't show you the full machine? It's engineered by Decospan, so it's a little bit our in-house secret how we do it. So as you can see, she's very selectively taking the different parts. So sometimes she's selecting where the grain goes more to the left. Sometimes it's more straight. Sometimes it's with a half crown cut. So even if it's randomly matching, it's still done from a person that has a lot of experience. So some of the ladies are doing this for more than 20 years. So believe me, as part of my training, I had to do it for a couple of days. Honestly, they're really the best. They are the best in their job. Just to have a real example of the mix match, on the left side you see an oak mix matched. On the right side you see a walnut mix matched. As you can see, it's not traditional. And the good thing about a mix match technique, it's very easy to seam in. So you can just cut a part of it without being too careful. Okay, it's this part of the wood, or I can only use the panels that are numbered. With the mix match, you can mix different panels to each other. So it's very easy to work with, and it's very nice in a project. It feels very natural. So when you have the full sheet, again, it has to be controlled. So as you can see, there's a lot of human contact controlling the quality of the veneer. So you have the full sheet. The full sheet gets controlled on the quality. And then if it's approved, it goes to that bundle. If it's a lower quality, it can be used as a backing, for example. The next step, of course, you have your veneer. You can go one back, Brad, please. The next step is you need a support. You have to put your veneer somewhere on. So a very traditional one, it's the MDF or the chipboard. Those are very common. So basically what do? You have a veneer sheet, then you have your support panel. So MDF, you do it on the veneer, and then you put the other veneer on top. So you're gonna have a sandwich basically. This goes into the press. It's it's a low temperature, high pressure press, and basically it's pressing it together, and then you have your panel. Okay, so this is the first step of creating a panel. After you create the panel, it doesn't stop there. You can do more. And as I was saying, we at Decospan, we're passionate about wood veneer, and we want to give as much as added value as possible. One of the added values we can add is staining and lacquering. So staining and lacquering, basically we're gonna add a color on top of your veneer, and we're gonna pre-finish it, for example. The pictures you see here, it's pictures from our R&D department. So the real lacquering, it's all done in one street, industrialized. But of course, a lot of architects, designers, they're sending us a sample of a color they want to match. So it's all possible, and then we do it in R&D, in our R&D facility. We match the color, we try it on the line, and then we have a sample we can send back to approve if they like the color or not. So this is the staining and lacquering part of the process.
Maxime,
Yes.
Sorry, we've just had a question come in relation to what type of oil the invisible oil is. Is it a hard wax, or what's the composition of it?
Okay, so it's a water-based oil. Basically, you can just do one component. So it's just one-time oil you do on top. If you would use it as a surface like kitchen table, we say you should add 2 or 3 layers. So it depends for what you want to use it. If you want to use it for just cabinetry, 1 layer is enough. If you would like to use it for a kitchen table, we say you have to add in total 3 layers. But it's a water-based oil. Okay. So this was a part of staining and lacquering. So I hope you understand all the different parts of making a panel. And to be honest, I stayed very high level here. So in one of the next webinars, end of April, I will go really into deep detail about the jointing techniques, about the different possibilities to do. Okay, can go to the next one, Brad. The most sustainable wood solution for well-being. As I was already saying, when I was talking about the wood species we have in stock, for us, it starts with the procurement. So basically, for us, wood, it's what we live for. Without wood, we're nothing. So it's very important. We're here for the long game, the long vision. So it starts with a responsible procurement, basically. So what's possible, we buy an FSC. So we use a lot of oak. The oak we use, more than 90% is coming from Croatian oak from Europe. And basically all the Croatian oak, it's all FSC standards. Some wood species, it's not possible to have an FSC, but then we always sign together with our supplier a wood charter to be sure that the wood is coming from a source that's been trusted and there is no illegal activity at all. Procurement, it's the first part. The second part is sustainable production. I just took 2 examples. All the energy we use is green energy. All our roofs are full of solar panels. But just to show that it's really everywhere in the production process. For example, when you have your bundle of veneer, sometimes you have to cut a little bit at the end or on the side to have a straight veneer. So even those little cutoffs, we're gonna use to heat up the business premises. So really nothing gets lost of the woods, basically. It always has a use. And of course, veneer, you have the maximum yield of a log. There is no sawing loss, and even the bad parts, even if there's no bad parts in my eyes, the parts people don't like, we can still use as a backer. So every part has something of use, basically. And of course, yeah, we are wood believers, so we love wood, and we always believe in the beautiful texture of wood and not in imitations, whether at the end of the day still plastics and resins. Okay. The last topic I would like to talk about, it's the Veneer Innovations or solutions, I like to say as well. One of the main things we heard in the market was the finishing part. It's for a lot of, especially for the larger projects, it's very challenging to have a consistent finishing. So we created a collection called Shinoki, where we already selected 16 colors that has been pre-finished. So here we really want to give a solution to the market, a solution to architect designers, that they can select a pre-finished color and lacquer. So they don't have to worry about an unfinished veneer that has to be stained and has to be lacquered. So they can just choose the color they want, and it's gonna be like that. Another thing, it's also to help joiners. Sometimes it's nice for them, they can have a pre-finished panel, it has a protective foil, and they can still do the magic with making the most beautiful furniture we have ever seen. So it's a little bit, we want to help both worlds. So the pre-finished veneers, it's something we're very proud of, and it's something, yeah, in terms of applications, it's yeah, you can use it for everything, kitchens, wardrobes, wall panels. It's a lot of options. The next one is the reclaimed veneers. So with the reclaimed veneers, how does it work? In Croatia, you have a lot of old barns, and those old barns, often there for more than 100 years, we're gonna reuse. The same for sleepers of trains, often full of cracks, been there for 100 years in the outside. We're gonna dry that wood and we're gonna slice wood veneer out of it. Okay, then we're gonna have a panel. We put a black paper and we're gonna lay down manually each wood veneer on that panel. And as you can see on the picture, the wood is gonna have a lot of cracks. So it's also part of the collection to have this very old feeling, this reclaimed feeling, that you can also see it in the panel. So the cracks are making it even nicer. So this is our reclaimed veneers that we do. Another one is, you can go to the next one, is the vintage. So the vintage in tons, I already talked about it a bit earlier. It's the embossed technique. So again, here we also use reclaimed veneers. We're gonna do the reclaimed veneers onto a plywood. Often in total, you have a thickness of 5.5 mm. And then with special pressing technology, we're gonna add a lot of structure into that wood. So basically, when we press it, we close down all the wood fibers. So this is wood you even don't have to finish anymore because it has been pressed so tight to each other. And your end thickness of your wood veneer is suddenly 3.5 mm. So it has been pressed a lot. The next one is the smoked veneers. So why do we love smoked veneers so much? With smoked veneers, you can have a very special color texture, basically. So how does it work? You have a container where you put bundles of veneer. And in that container, you're gonna use ammoniac to smoke the veneers. And basically, depending on time, depending on temperature, depending on where your veneer is located in the bundle, you're gonna have darker and light smoked. And that gives, for example, the one you see on the right, then you can really start playing with special collections. I call it the zebra effect, where we play with dark and light mix matching smoked veneers to have this very special look. But of course, you can also just use dark smoked and mix match them, and still you're gonna see the subtle color difference within the veneer, and that's just the beauty of it. The last one, it's the brushing and the scratching options. So I think most of you know the more traditional one. So it's a brush, a light brush or a stronger brush. Sometimes they even call it sandblasted. We don't do sandblasted, but we do type B3. So it means a very deep brush. It's the same effect. But especially the scratching. Within the scratching, we can do many options. Very often people are only used to the sawn effect. So it's just a straight scratch. But we want to go further. We want to challenge it even more. So basically what we can do randomly scratched. We can do like a wave scratched, a scratch down. So you name it, and basically we try to do it. And of course, it's very nice to give your wood an extra dimension with the scratching options. Okay, so basically that was my introduction to wood veneer, or a little bit further than introduction. And now I would like to give Jimmy back the word.
Thanks, Maxime. Much appreciated. Trust the attendees found that very helpful, and I'm looking forward to the next series, going deeper into some of these product details and your process in a lot more detail. So just covering off where he has left off, the partnership we've got Decospan in relation to all their wood solutions in New Zealand. And we're obviously their local partner and working closely with them both on stock products, which you'll see in our marketing material, and also the ability to do indent and customized project work, which we'll cover off more on the next series. So we've been very privileged since we've been working with Decospan for over 18 months now to work on a lot of really high-end projects across the market with some of New Zealand's leading architects and designers, and also with obviously some of the leading joinery companies in the country. So we thought we'd just show just a few projects. You may have seen them in our material, some of the residential projects, some of the Jack McKinney using the winter larch, which is a smoked larch product. And you'll see this in the materials, a lot of options around the texture and colour and smoking. Another project using the smoked Robusta Quercus from the Quercus collection, which was designed by from Nichols Group Bespoke Interior Design, and incorporated the cabinetry and shelving units on that project. And you'll probably note there is matching edge banding, which comes across all the range. It's another one from Warren Amani project in Wellington, office fit out project, and they incorporated both our walnut smoked pre-finished Shinoki veneer and then also the Raven Oak black veneer, and actually created a vertical, you'll see on the left hand side there, a vertical fin system for a feature wall with those vertical lines. Another one for Sangro Chambers. This is quite a special project. Decospan also has a flooring range which complements the veneers, and you'll see that they've actually incorporated the veneers onto the doors in this project to match the flooring. So there's a lot of flexibility around being able to use their veneers, not just in panel format, but also being able to incorporate them into doors and other elements to tie the whole design together. It's done by ES Design in Wellington. Just to underscore, we do have significant stock holdings in New Zealand of a lot of their range, out of their branded range. This includes a lot of it's on MR, MDF panels, both 2.5 metre and 3.5 metre sheets, again, all matching edge banding, like we mentioned earlier, including both the texture and also the pre-finished colour for the Shinoki range. So I guess what we want to underline there is that there's a whole system behind it. It's not just the panel. It comes with the complementary accessories and the fact we can get, obviously once we're out of lockdown again, we can get products into a joinery company anywhere in the country within sort of 1 to 3 working days for any stock products. Just want to give you a brief snapshot here. The team's been working quite a lot in the last couple of weeks around taking this range a lot further. We will be updating the market over the next few months. There's a lot of exciting developments and looking how we can add more value to the products, both from using what's coming from the Belgian factory, but also working with the local partners to be able to add more value to the products here, and with a whole lot of different methods, finishing and machining, CNCing, to bring in some whole new designs and solutions that designers can incorporate into both commercial and residential projects. And it also gives us more flexibility around being able to offer the partnership between obviously the imported product, which needs to come in because it's an imported species of timber, but then you using local joinery partners to develop these products. So we'll keep you posted on that. Obviously, everyone will be aware that we do have showrooms currently not open due to the lockdown, and we're definitely looking forward to welcoming you back into them once the lockdown is lifted. So these obviously are the primary place to showcase large panels. There's obviously sampling you can get from them for any teams that can help you walk through projects and designs and look at incorporating in different elements in them. Also a brief sort of project snapshot of the one we've been working in Wellington with. This was due to open a few days after the lockdown was put in place, so this has obviously been on hold, and we'll do a soft opening sometime during May or whenever the lockdown is lifted, and we'd really look forward to introducing you to that space. There's a lot of the veneer on display, including the winter larch you can see on the cabinetry there, incorporating the curved flex format around the curves on the end of that column, or that joinery unit. Just briefly on the Veneer Book, a lot of you would have received this. If you haven't, definitely get in touch via email. This is really our local reference guide and what is stocked in New Zealand. Obviously with the thousands of variations available from Decospan, we've got to take the core products we want to bring to the New Zealand market as far as a stocked quick service option goes. But we do have a huge range of styles and textures that are an off-the-shelf option. And This book is all priced with the trade pricing in it for the joiners, so they can buy straight from there. We can direct ship them within 1 to 2 days. On top of that, we've also got the free sample service, which again is on hold right at the moment, but absolutely feel free to get in touch with your account manager or email us directly if you want to forward order any samples, and we'll get these ready to ship as soon as the lockdown's finished. And this can give you a snapshot of the whole range or just a specific product that you're interested in. Last but not least, the team is still fully engaged and really keen to hear from you if there's any projects you're working on through the lockdown period. If there's anything that we can help on, just give us a ring, email. We're all still working and very much be glad to chat about what you're working through. And yeah, if you phone, email, either the landline or the direct numbers, so I'd be more than happy to help you out. So that's good. It's bringing us near the end now. If we can bring up some key questions that come through, we had some really good questions coming from the attendees. So I'll pass it over to Aaron and he can pick these questions up.
Thanks, Jimmy. We had a few questions coming in around the edge banding and the possibilities of that solution. Maxime, can you just speak to options available there, both for the pre-finished and the unfinished range, and how that completes the look?
Yeah, so with the pre-finished range, we have basically two options. We have an ABS edge bending. We offer that to have a more durable one. It's often very often used for kitchens. Then we also have a veneer option, also pre-finished. So the colors of the edge bendings are always matching the panels itself. And the good thing is we also have it in an extra large width. So we have the normal width of 24, but it can go up to 48 to cover as well, for example, areas where you want to allow a thicker edge. So those are the two options. We also have unfinished edge bending for quercus. And there we also allow textures such as scratching and brushing to continue on the edge bending.
That's good. And you also stock a 2mm as an option, so not just the thinner option. You have the thickness of 2mm for extra durability on the unfinished panels. Yes,
the ABS one. That's indeed 1 mm total thickness, and that's the one that you're talking. Sorry. The one of quercus indeed also has a thicker one that's within veneers that goes up to 1mm and more to have a very durable edge bending, basically.
Sure, and they are so also it comes with the same texture as on the surface of the product, so whether that be scratched or brushed, that
exactly.
is on the side, again to give a more realistic solid timber look.
Yes, exactly. We always want to give a full package, so that's why we continue with the scratching and the brushing on the side to have this solid look and not just to end with the panels. So we want to give you the full service, basically.
Excellent. And the question about the pre-finished sheets, they're finished with a commercial lacquer, aren't they? That's finger marking resistant.
It's it's a UV cured acrylic lacquer, so that's for the panels. And so basically that's the finish we use.
And you use water-based stains, again, in line with the sustainable practices.
Yes.
Water-based stains and low-level VOC lacquers.
Yes, exactly. Maybe I did not talk about that enough, but also everything we do, it's always with respect of nature. So everything has the right certification in terms of air quality, indoor quality, non-added formaldehyde, low emissions. The whole package is there, basically.
And so just for the benefit of the audience, VidaSpace has an FSC certification New Zealand, so we can pass on that certification right to your end project if you're looking for Green Star points or similar to show your concern for sustainability in a project. Another question here around the veneer being attached to the substrate. Is that is it a glue, and is this applied to the veneer or the substrate?
Yes. It's applied to the substrates. Most of the time we use a white glue. That's the glue we use the most. And first it's been applied to the substrate, and then basically we drop the veneer sheet on top of that, and then it goes into the press.
Excellent. Now, quick question on thickness of boards and options, which you know what's available in New Zealand, but predominantly it's 90mm, and of course a moisture resistant board to ensure bases are covered for all applications.
Yes, yes.
And you have possibilities of doing it to, there's possibilities of any substrate, I suppose, and any thickness?
Yeah, so basically what do? We have a lot of different options available. So we have the moisture resistant standard 18mm MDF panel, but we also have it in 6mm, 12mm. And basically our neighbors are Unilin, so we can easily make the panel you want in the thickness you want. But ourselves, we already have a huge stock of panels available to make sure that lead times are acceptable.
One of the trends that we've seen is higher ceiling volumes, so your panel sizes allow for that, don't they?
Yeah. It's a trend that's already on for a couple of years, and that's why with the pre-finished panels, we give the options of 2.8 and even 3 meter long to fulfill the higher ceilings again. So it gives the opportunity that you don't have to work with 2 panels, and with 1 panel that is in such a size, you can continue the grain, and it's more beautiful to see it like that.
That's excellent. Thanks very much, Maxime. So yeah, really appreciate everyone joining today, and we've just gone through our 45 minutes. So just a quick update, there will be another series coming through, and which will update everyone via email and social media, digging into more deep into these products, specifically both the construction, the manufacture of it, and then also installation methods and techniques, and then also delving more in relation to what we can do around the customization of both the veneer, how many species options are, and then what we can do to modify that for specific projects, especially larger commercial volumes, and then colouring to order options as well, which is very interesting. So definitely look out for these updates coming over the next few days, and feel free to give us feedback as soon as it's closed down. It will pop up on your screen. We'll get an email out to you shortly as well, following through some further content, some videos to watch in more detail around some of these products, which I think you'll find very interesting. So that we really appreciate you coming on, Maxime. 12:45 a.m. in Belgium, so appreciate you coming on this time of the morning. And yeah, get in touch with the team if there's any specific samples, information on any project you want to put in front of us, whatever the species, whatever the product. Just send us an email, and we'll be glad to help you out with some information and ideas. So appreciate that. All the best, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you. Have a good day.